Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about all you need to know about Alzheimer's disease. Imagine slowly forgetting the names of your children, the home you've lived in for decades, or even how to speak. This is the heartbreaking reality for millions living with Alzheimer's disease, the most common cause of dementia worldwide. But what really is Alzheimer's? How does it start? Who's at risk? And what can we do about it? Let's take a journey through the mind to understand this devastating condition and explore the science, the symptoms, and the hope. Alzheimer's is more than just memory loss. It's a progressive brain disease that affects how we think, remember, speak, and function. It starts slowly, forgetting names, losing keys, repeating questions. But over time, these small lapses grow into confusion, disorientation, and eventually, total dependence on others. In the final stages, even walking, talking, or swallowing can become impossible. The first signs. It often begins with subtle signs, forgetting a recent conversation, feeling overwhelmed by a simple task, or getting lost in familiar places. Loved ones might notice mood swings, irritability, or signs of depression. It's easy to mistake these for normal aging, but they may be the first red flags. It often starts with something small, a misplaced pair of glasses, a forgotten appointment, a familiar name just out of reach. Most of us shrug it off. Just getting older, we say. But for some, these little slips are not just harmless forgetfulness, they are the first signs of something deeper, something far more serious. The early stage of Alzheimer's is called mild cognitive impairment, and it's easy to overlook. It may begin with memory lapses, especially short-term memory. Someone may forget recent conversations or ask the same question again and again, unaware they've already asked it. They may struggle to find the right words, often pausing mid-sentence or replacing common terms with vague descriptions, like calling a watch the wrist thing. Tasks that once came naturally, like following a recipe, paying bills, or managing medication, suddenly feel overwhelming. They may lose track of time, forget important dates, or even get confused about where they are or how they got there. Mood and personality may also shift. You might notice signs of irritability, anxiety, or depression. A once social person may withdraw, feeling frustrated or embarrassed by their forgetfulness. These early warning signs don't mean someone definitely has Alzheimer's, but when they start to interfere with daily life, it's time to pay attention. Because Alzheimer's is more than just forgetfulness, it's a disease that changes the brain long before the outside world even notices. If you notice these signs in someone you love, don't ignore them. Early detection matters. It can lead to better care, better planning, and more time to make precious memories. Inside the brain, Alzheimer's causes the buildup of two harmful proteins: beta amyloid, which clumps into plaques between nerve cells, tau, which twists into tangles inside brain cells. These disrupts communication, kill neurons, and eventually cause parts of the brain to shrink, especially the areas linked to memory and reasoning. Imagine your brain as a vast city. Every thought, every memory, every heartbeat is powered by millions of roads and highways, neurons, firing in perfect harmony. But in the brain of someone with Alzheimer's disease, that city begins to fall apart. It starts quietly, so quietly, most people don't even notice. A name slips the mind. A sentence is repeated. A familiar route becomes confusing. These are the first signs that something is going wrong deep inside the brain. At the heart of the problem are two rogue proteins, beta amyloid and tau. Beta amyloid is like toxic waste that begins to pile up between brain cells. It forms sticky clumps known as plaques, blocking the flow of communication between neurons. The brain tries to fight back, but this only creates more inflammation and damage. Inside the neurons, another enemy is forming. Tau, a protein that normally supports the brain's internal transport system, begins to twist into something deadly, tangles. These tangles strangle the cells from the inside, stopping essential nutrients from getting where they're needed. As the plaques and tangles spread, neurons begin to die, not just one or two, but millions. The first region hit is the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. This is why the earliest symptom of Alzheimer's is forgetfulness. But it doesn't stop there. The damage spreads like wildfire, from memory, to language, to reasoning, to personality. Eventually, even the parts of the brain that control walking, swallowing, and breathing are affected. Under a microscope, the changes are dramatic. The once full, active brain begins to shrink. The spaces between the folds grow wider. And also neurotransmitters, those vital chemicals that help brain cells talk to each other, starts to vanish. Acetylcholine, the one most responsible for memory and learning, is nearly gone. The immune cells in the brain try to help. They attack the plaques, clean up the dead cells, and fight the inflammation. But the battle becomes too much. The brain's defense system turns chaotic, adding to the damage instead of stopping it. And so, the brain, the control center of everything we are, begins to shut down, piece by piece. For those living with Alzheimer's, the journey through this fading city is long and painful. Over time, memories disappear, faces become unfamiliar, and even basic tasks like eating or speaking become impossible. This is what really happens in the brain of an Alzheimer's patient. Not just forgetfulness, but a slow, relentless unraveling of everything that makes us who we are. Understanding these changes is not just important for science. It's important for every family, every caregiver, every loved one walking this difficult path. Because the more we know, the closer we get to stopping it. We all forget things sometimes, where we left the keys, why we walked into a room, a name on the tip of the tongue. But for some, these little lapses are more than forgetfulness, they're the beginning of something much deeper. So, who is at risk, and what makes some people more vulnerable than others? Let's take a closer look. The number one risk factor is age. Alzheimer's is not a normal part of aging, but the risk doubles every 5 years after age 65. That means the older you get, the more likely the brain may begin to change in ways you can't see until it's too late. Number 2, genetics also plays a role. If Alzheimer's runs in your family, especially if a parent or sibling had it, your risk goes up. One particular gene, called ApoE4, has been strongly linked to the disease. Carrying this gene doesn't guarantee you'll develop Alzheimer's, but it increases the chances. And then there's a rare version called familial Alzheimer's, which can strike as early as your 40s or 50s. It's passed down from generation to generation. Number 3, your heart health affects your brain health. High blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, high cholesterol. These aren't just heart risks, they damage blood vessels in the brain, too. That damage can silently increase your risk of Alzheimer's over time. Number 4, head injuries are another red flag. Repeated concussions, or even one serious blow to the head, can raise the risk. That's why athletes, veterans, and accident survivors are carefully monitored. Number 5, poor diet, no exercise, smoking, loneliness, lack of mental stimulation. These choices all chip away at the brain's resilience. But here's the good news. There are healthy habits that protect your brain. Eating well, staying physically active, staying socially connected, and keeping your brain challenged. These are more than good habits, they're tools for prevention. People who engage in lifelong learning or mentally stimulating activities, like reading, puzzles, or learning new skills, build what's called cognitive reserve. It's like a backup system for your brain. So who is at risk of Alzheimer's? In truth, we all are, but risk is not fate. With awareness, action, and research, we can reduce the odds and move closer to a world without Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's disease is a word that brings fear, sadness, and questions. Can anything be done? Is there hope? What happens after the diagnosis? Let's talk about it, not just the science, but the support, the strategies, and the strength that surround this journey. First, let's be honest, there is no cure yet, but that doesn't mean we're powerless. Early diagnosis gives us the upper hand. It opens the door to treatment, planning, and support before things progress too far. There are medications that help manage symptoms. They don't stop the disease, but they can slow it down. Drugs like donepezil and memantine support memory and thinking for a time, and newer treatments, like lecanemab, are being developed to target the root of the disease, those sticky plaques in the brain. It's not a miracle, but it's a step forward. Then there are non-drug approaches, simple things that make a big difference. Mental stimulation, regular exercise, a brain-healthy diet, music, laughter, and routine. Social connection. These don't just support memory, they support dignity, identity, and joy. Planning ahead is another powerful move. Legal decisions, care arrangements, and financial steps made early can reduce stress later. It's not easy, but it's a gift to everyone involved. And let's not forget the caregivers. Their journey is just as real. They need support, breaks, and love too. Thankfully, there are resources, support groups, respite care, memory cafes, online communities, all ready to help. Researchers are working every day, searching for better treatments, prevention, and one day, a cure. Every clinical trial, every donation, every story shared, it brings us closer. So what can be done about Alzheimer's? We can treat, we can care, we can fight, we can hope, because even in the face of memory loss, there is still love, still life, and still light. The world searching for answers to Alzheimer's disease, science has turned not only to high-tech labs, but also to ancient roots, leaves, and flowers. Could nature hold clues to calming the symptoms, or even slowing the storm? Let's explore herbs that may help support the brain on this difficult journey. 1. Ginkgo biloba, the memory leaf. For centuries, ginkgo has been used in traditional Chinese medicine to enhance memory and focus. Modern studies suggest it may improve blood flow to the brain, helping with memory, concentration, and even mood. It's not a cure, but some patients report clearer thinking and better daily function. 2. Turmeric, curcumin, the golden healer. Inside turmeric is curcumin, a powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. You may ask, why does that matter? Because in Alzheimer's, the brain is inflamed, damaged, under attack. Curcumin may help protect brain cells, reduce plaque buildup, and slow down degeneration. 3. Sage, the clarity herb. Sage isn't just for cooking. Extracts of Salvia officinalis and Salvia levandulifolia have shown promise in improving cognitive performance, especially in people with mild to moderate Alzheimer's. Some studies show improvements in memory and attention within weeks. 4. Ashwagandha, the stress soother. Used in Ayurvedic medicine for over 3,000 years, ashwagandha is known to reduce stress and anxiety, a big help for caregivers and patients alike. But that's not all. Recent research shows it may help protect nerve cells, improve sleep, and reduce amyloid plaque formation in the brain. 5. Lion's mane mushroom, the brain builder. Not a herb, but a medicinal mushroom with serious potential. Lion's mane contains compounds that may stimulate the growth of nerve cells, and some studies suggest it could help slow memory loss and support brain regeneration. A quick but important note: before using any herbal remedy, especially with Alzheimer's medications, always consult a healthcare professional. Some herbs can interact with drugs or cause side effects. Nature is powerful, use it wisely. Herbs are not a cure, but they can be gentle allies. They may ease symptoms, boost clarity, reduce anxiety, and bring moments of calm into a chaotic journey. Because even small comforts matter when memory fades. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more useful health tips.